welcome to Briar Haus Writes. I'm Becky Parker, and today it is my honor to be able to have award-winning poet, writer, publisher, and book owner Gloria Mindock with us today. Gloria, welcome to our program.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Gloria, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, dear. Well, I come from north central Illinois in a small town called Oglesby, and population's about 4,000 people. And I love cornfields, flat land, space. And then there are three state parks nearby, so they were practically in my backyard.
Cool.
We had great thunderstorms in here in Massachusetts. They're not that great. And I love tornadoes. I used to chase them. And
Oh.
then I got kind of what do you call it? Something like chasing them stopped because I had a close call. But I do love it, and I follow that actually on my computer when there's bad storms, and I see where all the tornado warnings are in the country, especially Illinois, since I have friends there yet.
Well,
So
in Tennessee
it's
as
fun.
well, where I am, you can probably see quite a few on us. Well, that sounds so fascinating. I don't think I've actually met an actual storm chaser before, so that is so cool. Um, Gloria, tell us how you made the transition from being a clinical director and counselor for addiction to freelance poetry writing, teaching workshops, having your own company. How did you go about making that transition? It couldn't have been easy.
Well, I didn't really make a transition. While I was doing that addiction work, I was still writing and doing all the things that you mentioned. So when I retired, I had more time to do all of that, and I was so happy to retire, because I was in the field for about 40 years.
Right. When you were starting out writing, what actually led you to becoming a writer?
Mostly atrocities. I believe in being a witness for those that have no voice in the world. So I started writing, about the things that are happening because so many people go on in their lives, but they don't pay attention sometimes to the horror that's happening. So I like to bring awareness to that. Also, another favorite topic of mine to write about is bad relationships. That is really fun. It seems like everybody tells me their problems. I could be shopping in a cafe, it doesn't matter what. I hear everybody's life story, and it's usually bad relationships. And the men have been worse than the women, believe it or not.
Oh, and that's how you came about writing your book, Ash?
Mhm. Yes. And then from my clients, some of the stories they told me, it was really, I had to do something with them because some of the stuff, it was really funny actually. So I had to write about it.
And relationships are so complex anyway. So it's nice that that you have found a way to be able to talk about relationships that is relatable, because we all have them, and they're not always the easiest things. um, well,
Mhm.
tell me about, like, what is your writing process?
I am a sporadic writer. I can go months without writing, and it doesn't bother me. But then when I start to write, I'm like a mad woman. It's like nonstop. And then it happens again, maybe a few months or a few weeks. I usually write on paper or a writing book, and then I edit. After that, then it goes to the computer, then I edit again if it needs it. And then when I'm done with the poem, that's it. I don't want to look at it again. I have friends that will spend weeks and weeks on one poem. I
Mhm.
can't do that. I think I know when it's done and I can't do any more with
Any more
it.
time?
And
Do
if
you
there's
have do you have a, ever a time where you think, hey, this does need to be edited some more, or how do you know when it's completed?
I can't explain that. I just know when it flows right and it sounds right. I believe in reading my work out loud so I can hear the rhythm and hear how it sounds. And if it sounds good to me, then I know I'm done. If I have any problems with a poem, I have a few friends I turn to and say, help.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you have any mentors or anybody that is in your corner to be able to share your work with before it's finished?
Yes, I used to meet once a month with a writer, Renuka Raghaven and Karen Friedland, and we would share work and give suggestions to each other. And then Karen recently passed away from ovarian cancer. Renuka and I haven't been together like to do that since she passed away. But I know if I had a problem with something, I go, hey, take a look at this. And then I have a couple other friends that I trust with my work. And I think trust is very important when you're showing your work.
Because you're vulnerable at that point. You're sharing a part of yourself. Gloria, can you tell us about what actually led you to writing? Like, I know you said you write about atrocities and things that you really want to call attention to, but do you remember when you very first started having an interest toward that, being able to capture those?
Yes, I was a theater major and I wrote a lot of experimental plays. I co-founded a theater company when I moved out here to Boston and did that for 10 years. So many plays were adapted or poems were written specifically for a show. And I think that's when my interest really started. A little before that, I used to hide in the library in Normal, Illinois. They had an old library before they tore it down. And I would hide in there kind of in this old decrepit section and read poems. And I just loved it. And I remember reading Matthew Arnold and I went crazy over the buried life. And then I was hooked. And then translations came into my life. They were hard to find then, not like now. And I felt that I identified with Eastern European writers. And reading their work made me want to write. So then I started writing a lot.
And some of your work has been translated into other languages. How does that feel? I mean, you started out loving a translation, and now your own work is being translated. What kind of experience is that for you personally to see your work in
It's
another
a
language?
it's a dream come true. It really is to be read by other people in different countries. There's nothing like it. And I feel my work is reaching more people, and that makes me so happy. And the response has been very good. So I'm very touched by it all and grateful.
Hmm. One of the things that you do, I find very interesting, is that you really want there to be literacy, um, and you have opportunities for people to share books and be able to purchase books. Can you tell us about your bookstore and your publishing company, and the importance of sharing word with others?
Yes, I started Cervena Barba Press in 2005, and it's Czech. It means red color. And I was influenced by Václav Havel and all he did for the former Czechoslovakia and Czech Republic. And I knew I wanted to honor him. So at first I wanted red blood, and I thought, oh, that won't go over too good. So I changed it to red color.
Mhm.
And so the reason I started the press was to publish translations, even though I publish writers from this country and really everywhere.
Mhm.
And that was my main purpose, is to bring a lot of work here to America. Now there's many more presses, publishing writers from everywhere, so it's nice to see and it makes me very happy. And the bookstore, I wanted to sell books by other writers from all over, so I did that. I was in a space in the Armory, an old building, and it was wonderful. And I was there from 2009 till 2021.
Oh,
And I left and I closed the bookstore. It was very hard to do, but it just took so much time, and I decided I've had enough. And so right now I just sell the Cervena Barber Press books. I donate a lot of books to some bookstores to help support them because I believe in supporting independent bookstores. Not the big, huge ones, but it's nice that books are in there too.
Hmm.
Um, and I think pretty much, I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot about the press. I mean, I hold readings and have writers from all over the world read. Um, and I love Zoom because I can bring them here so people can hear them. A lot of people I know don't like Zoom, but I think it's just wonderful.
Well, and I wanted to ask you about AI and modern technology now. Um, is it easier for you in some ways with modern technology, like you said, being able to have Zoom and being able to bring people in? Or do you think that it's kind of a little bit harder to identify, especially when you have writers who you want to make sure that they're not using AI? I mean, can you tell about the difference between when you first started and now, just with technology and the good, the bad? What's been your experience?
Sure. I mean, Zoom, like I said, is good. I loved technology that way. AI is kind of scary. Um, I'm going to start putting in my contract that I don't want any work written with AI, no fiction, no poetry written that way. Um, I think it's dangerous for our copyright because it does take things from everywhere. Um, that is scary. So there needs to be some rules kind of with AI. I know many presses are putting things in their contract concerning it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't mind so much if somebody puts, let's say, a poem in it of their own and says fix punctuation or something like that. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's like a God-given gift that way. Because sometimes
Spell
you go,
check.
oh, what do I need here?
I know. Is it a comma? Yeah. I'm the worst at
Mhm.
doing punctuations, but that really does
Right.
affect how you read your poem. I love what you said. Read your work out loud because it can make a difference with especially punctuation. But when you're writing your own work and you're sharing it with others, um, does it give you a sense of community that, especially being online, that you may not be able to get if someone is just taking your work and reading it from home? When you're reading it out loud in your Zooms, does it connect you with others in a way that you might not have been able to?
Yes, I mean, I would like my work to be heard like any writer. We want people to hear us, to maybe respond to it if they wish to. I mean, there's nothing like an in-person reading, of course. I mean, I love that and book launches that way, but this is just another avenue to reach more people, and I love it because I'm reaching people that I normally wouldn't be able to.
So what would you say to that person who they're an excellent writer, but they just don't want to give interviews and they don't want to do anything like that? How would you get them out of their shell?
Slowly and building up their confidence. I mean, I don't like public speaking. I never did. Even though I used to act, I could make a fool of myself in front of people. But all of a sudden, to talk in front of people or share my own work, oh my God. And I work on my nerves. So I understand that. So I would help them slowly. I'm working with a writer now who has never done that. And so I did practice sessions with her to get her comfortable. She has yet to do, a regular reading on Zoom, but I'm kind of working with her to build up that confidence and to learn how to be comfortable.
I think that's a very good idea, is to be able to have someone to practice with. Um, so have you ever encountered any kind of roadblocks when it comes to completing a project, some of your work or a book or anything like that?
I would say time sometimes is a problem, especially with publishing books and other responsibilities that I have. And so sometimes finding time. And I'm more of a night owl. I go to bed at 2 and get up at 5:30. So the wee hours are great for me for writing, but the time I would say is hard because there's always things it seems, with the press, which I love, but there seems like there's always stuff to do. And everybody wants things now.
Right. Well, from start to finish, when you are working on your collection of books, let's say you're writing on a poetry collection, from start to finish, how long does that process take? So from start to finish, from the time they submit that book to a publisher and it's being looked at, what would be the time frame that it would ever be published? Because some people think, oh, if I send you my manuscript and you accept it, it should be published next week, so they could get it out in time for Christmas. But what would you say to that writer?
Well, there's usually, for most presses, unless they aren't doing a lot of books per year, a 2 year wait. I have a 2 year wait. And sometimes some authors will forget that and want it, much, much sooner. I can understand that in some ways. We all get excited, if we have a manuscript accepted and you want to see your baby in print.
Right.
And so I have a lot of patience for it, but sometimes I have to admit it is a little difficult.
Well, tell us about if you could transform into anything else other than Gloria Mindock, what would it be and why?
Oh gosh. Well, this is going to sound really weird. I would like to be a penguin. The reason being, I love them. I think they are so adorable. And ever since I was a little girl, I used to collect them, and they were very hard to find back in the, late 50s. And now they're everywhere. But I have quite a collection. I must have probably about 700 little
Oh,
penguins.
see, that is cool.
So,
So is that some of your hobbies and interests? Obviously, is collecting penguins. What do you do when you're not busy doing everything else?
okay, well, sometimes taking a mini walk or watching a really good foreign film. Um, I love to watch that. I think they're much better than American movies, many of them. I think America has gone downhill in the movie making. I'll probably get flack for saying that, but we all have our tastes, and then that's okay. I
That's
respect
true.
what everybody likes.
We're all made differently. That's what makes the world go round. Gloria,
Mhm.
would you take time and read us some of your beautiful work?
Okay. I'll read a couple from Ash first, and then I then Grief Touched the Sky at Night. But this is Ash, and this is the one about bad relationships,
Right.
and it's called Escape. Trying to escape, but I am surrounded by flat land, no place to go. If I stand behind the tree, you will find me. Behind the barn, you will find me. Behind the house, you will find me. You would not expect me to hide down by the Illinois River or in the caves of Starved Rock. I will be there until my body decays. I will become a beautiful plant. When you walk past, I will give you a rash. And the next one is called What If God is Strict? I am looking for the right flesh with no bleeding, my voice free, hanging from the crucifix, passion from these lips igniting sins to clot my mouth. Crucifixes break every day, are shoved into a drawer, collect dust in a thrift shop. Sometimes Jesus becomes so dusty that cleaning him is a problem, the dust too thick to let him resurrect. When he does, he sneezes. Maybe Jesus will develop an allergy, a miracle of life. And the last one from Ash that I'll read is about murder, and I had really a lot of fun reading this one. The first stanza is the man, and the second stanza is the woman. J/M. Jay loved fake names. He was a burned out novelist, wrote too many stories about horrific blind dates. He was a wild man, too many plastic bags in his kitchen. He would kill you, burn you, pretending it was love. M, an elementary teacher, went out with Jay. She thought he was popular, would bring her wealth. M was wrong. Her fate lay at the water's edge, an alligator.
Mm.
And next, I would like to read some poems from Grief Touched the Sky at Night. And this is about the war in Ukraine. And this is called The Blindfold. Blindfold me so I don't see the damage, the dead bodies or blood on the ground. Wrap the blindfold tightly around my eyes so I don't see the Russian tanks. Puncture my ears so I don't hear the sirens that a missile is coming. Tie my hands together so I can't take a life. God would not want me to do this. Bind my legs so I won't run and flee from my home. Stop my heart from feeling loss, sadness, and grief before it overwhelms me. The soldiers are killing my family and friends, slitting their throats and burning them. I know this. Remove my blindfold, untie my hands, give me my hearing back, give me a weapon. And this next poem was inspired by 60 Minutes. Two prisoners of war that were women spoke on the show. Bandages. In a Russian prison, she could hear the cries of Ukrainian men being raped. She was pregnant. Her husband did not know. All she wanted was her baby to be born in Ukraine, speaking to her stomach, urging, "Wait, little one." In a prisoner exchange, her baby was born in Ukraine. Another woman, so brutalized, she was not sure she would live, yet she's ready to fight again. Still, she did not want to leave home. Bombed out shell, dried blood in the dirt, wreckage like abstract art. A boot in the road filled with flowers, someone mourning a life, mourning their life. In some villages, every heart stopped beating at once. Can a village survive supported by the beating hearts of only two? Yet the women carry on in the footprints stretched out before them, walking the same path, breathing a different story for a free Ukraine.
Those are powerful.
Thank you. This one is called The Faucet. The faucet is dripping. I cup my hand to drink a few drops. It is not enough. My throat is dry, and the distance between dry and wet is enormous. How many times I have taken advantage of thinking things will always be okay. In the next room, a family hides like me. When are we ever safe? My mouth is stuffed with death, waiting for the blast. With regret, I open the window for air, but only smoke seeps in. I can't breathe. This is my final thought until tomorrow. I will try again to drink from the few things life still offers.
I think we have time for one more, Gloria.
Okay, I'll end then with boots. My boots are dirty, but not from dirt. My boots are heavy, but not from weight. My boots are untied, but not from neglect. My boots are on the road. I did not take them off. My boots are worn by someone else. I did not give. My body is naked. I did not remove my clothes. My dignity remains while the dirt covers me. I love my country. I love my country. I am Ukraine. Thank you.
Gloria, that's beautiful. I want to thank you so much for taking time with us today. For some of you who don't know, we've had some computer issues today, but Gloria's been so gracious. And Gloria, you can just see your heart is just so precious for the world. I want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
all that you do to make it a better place.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for having time with us today. And Gloria, before we leave, tell us where we can find you.
Um, Well, I have a website. It's under construction right now, but it's gloriamindock.com, and it should be up maybe in another month. That I so and then cervenabarbapress.com.
Awesome. Well, Gloria, thank you. We'll be looking for your website to get back up and running. And if you have a chance, everyone, check out Gloria. She's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Oops. Thank
Have
you.
a good one.